Good evening. We System is different this evening than it has been before. Everything has been updated and changed and rearranged, and I hope it's working because sometimes when things are different, I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes when things aren't different, I forget what I'm doing. You all have the same problems, some on some things or some issues. I just thought I'd start a couple of minutes early, give folks an opportunity to check in, get here. We are continuing our study in the Lord's Prayer. Um, Prayer that Jesus taught his disciples. We're focusing on Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 14. I've been reading from the New Revised Standard Version. Not it's not a lot different from the English, most of the English translations, but uh, it may be throw you off a little bit if you're following along in a different one. So just be aware of that. First day of fall, first full day of fall, or however you the technical term that you have for September the 22nd. Um, it certainly feels like fall, doesn't feel like summer anymore. Cold, rainy, windy, kind of nice. For those of us who don't like to break a sweat just standing still, um, it's a nice day. It's a great day here in Michigan. So, it's our Wednesday evening prayer and Bible time at the Bay City Wesleyan Church. We are continuing our study on the Lord's Prayer, the prayer Jesus taught us to pray as his followers, as his disciples. And we are working our way through Matthew chapter 6. Today we come to um, the first of the really I almost said human, but that's not exactly right. Because it's not the first of the human request. It is the first request that reminds us of our limitations. Um, the request so far, the first was that God's name, his character would be honored throughout the world, that his kingdom would come, and that his will would be done in this world as it is in heaven. Those are God-centered, big kingdom come kinds of requests. And now we turn to give us today our daily bread. A reminder that we are dependent on things for life. Now, this is something that's pretty easy for those of us who can simply run down to the store and pick up a loaf of bread or whatever else it is that we may want to eat. It's easy for us to overlook this this need. This is we can thanks to the pandemic, there are people who would be happy to bring the food to your house for you. So for some of us, that seems like a new concept, but I remember I know someone who used to do that as a teenager. They used to make deliveries for the grocery store. That wasn't that unusual. My grandfather did that. He had he had a retired racehorse uh, that pulled the wagon that he made grocery deliveries in. So, uh, rumor has it he had some fun. I wasn't there. It was when he was young, but I can imagine if he's my grandfather, so I can imagine that he did have a little bit of fun with a retired racehorse attached to a wagon, uh, whipping through the streets of small town in Indiana. That will remain nameless because, well, I don't know. Just to keep him safe, I guess. Hey, so it is so easy for us to overlook the fact that there are people all over the world for various reasons for whom this very prayer, give us this day our daily bread, is a life and death issue. Um, it's not that for many of us that maybe participating in this live event, but it is for a lot of people around the world. It is a life and death issue that they don't have the food they need for various reasons. Sometimes it's completely out of their power. Droughts, floods that have wiped out the crops. Sometimes it's just corrupt systems that refuse to deliver the food. It's war, um, all kinds of all kinds of human crime and cruelty can be is a part of the reason so many people are doing this. We can be so caught up in our list of things to do that we just take the fact that God provides for us for granted, and we start worrying about all of our things on our to-do list, and as important as those things are, his provision for us on a daily basis, the things we need to survive and to live, are more important. Um, and so that's that ordinary food, but we also need some of those other things as well. Um, we need to be praying for the daily bread, daily provisions for ourselves. We should pray for the daily provisions for those around us who don't have that. Uh, there are homeless people. There are people who struggle to make ends meet. And if what we can do, if there's something we can do to help them, we should do that. We should do what we can to help them. Um, it is also really uh, powerful for us to remember that one of the things that Jesus says about himself is that he's the bread of life. So in many ways, I mean, there's the physical bread that we need, but we also need to ask for the spiritual bread that only Jesus can give us, the spiritual life that only He can give us. It's not a concrete thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about a word picture of a spiritual reality, and that is that just as surely as our physical bodies can't survive without food, spiritually we don't and can't exist without Jesus. We can't survive without him. It may not realize it for a long time. It may take us a while to realize just how desperately uh, deficient our spiritual lives are. Uh, but he teaches us to ask the Father, our Creator, our Sustainer, that God to give us our daily bread, both physical and spiritual, to provide for us, as He has promised, everything we need for godliness and life. life and godliness. So I want to thank you for being here with us this evening. Um, let's take a moment to pray the Lord's Prayer with together, and then we will uh, continue following Jesus. Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for being with us this evening. We will I look forward to seeing you either in person or online again. Thank you very much.